Hey guys, Jared here again, aka The Laughing Man. So today I'm going to be installing some new rear spools and doing an oil change on my 2024 Yamaha MT-10. So I'm about 200 miles past its first oil change. I got a little sidetracked with other stuff, but I'm getting to it now. But to be able to get the bike up on the stands, to be able to get the oil out of it, first we're going to go ahead and do some spools. And for that, we are going to be using some of these. These are a inexpensive Amazon brand. So I went ahead and picked these up. I like these ones, and I'll show you why here in a second. So I like these ones because, grab one here. So it's a 3-part installation. So with these ones, after you install it, like so, it comes with this nice little top cap that you can put on it that keeps out some of the weather so that you don't get the rusted in and nastiness that I get with a bunch of my other rear spools. And I like how the end cap looked. So when I picked these up, I want to say they're like 20 bucks or something like that. I'll put a link to them down in the description. But so these are going to be the new spools. Then we will be using a K&N oil filter and some Royal Purple SAE 10W40. So I like Royal Purple because it's really high concentrated in the detergents, so it cleans out a lot of gunk and stuff out of the engines. With this being a brand new engine, it shouldn't have a lot in there, so I'll try to keep it clean off the get-go. So tools that I'm going to be using today. Of course, I'm going to be using my little Icon kit because I love my Icon kit. So most of the tools I'm going to be using are going to be out of here. Then for the drain plug, the new drain plug that I'm putting in. Oh, I also forgot. I'm going to be putting in a Votex. This is a magnetic. I'm going to be putting in this Votex magnetic oil drain plug. And for that, it's going to be a 17mm socket. So we'll use that. Of course, oil catch can to catch all the oil. I need something to remove the oil filters, so I've got that one. I've also got one of these little rubberized ones. I'm not sure which one's gonna work best. So, and then to fill it back up, it's just some assorted funnels. This one's a little too big, but the oil flows a lot better. This one, oil flows a little bit slower, but it fits in there, so I don't have to hold it. So the bike should take most of 5 quarts. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get the spools installed, and then we'll start draining the oil. Alright guys, so there are several different types of rear spools that you can do. So these ones that I'm using, Yamaha was nice enough to actually include a spot for threaded rear spools right here. So it is already pre-threaded for putting these in, which is nice because it keeps them up out of the way. So if I need to remove the rear tire while it's on the stand, I can still get to that. Another style that they have is like this here. This just goes, let me thread one side off here. This actually just goes right through your center axle and then tightens up on the other side, and it's got little set screws on them. So this is another option. These ones are good if you're working on a lot of bikes that aren't yours. The downside is once it's on there, you can't remove the rear tire, so it's good for just storing the bike, getting it up, stuff like that. But if you're actually trying to work on it, not the best option. So one other thing that I did forget to mention, so these ones here are going to be 5mm Allen heads, but also use a Loctite. In this case, I'm using a blue Loctite just so that they don't back out on you while you're going down the road. It would suck to lose something, suck even worse for the person behind you that gets hit by it. So I'm just going to put, not much, you don't need a lot on there, just a quick little drop just to hold them in place. Hand thread it as much as you can. Once it's in there, again, you don't want to just torque it all the way down. You know, again, this is all aluminum going into aluminum, crushing aluminum. So you just want to give it a good little snug fit. Then you just put your end cap on. And that's it. That's installing a rear spool. Alright guys, so on the MT-10, if you're going to be using the rear or swing arm spools, that's literally one of the quickest, easiest mods that you can do to the bike, and it is probably one of the most helpful, especially for doing any kind of maintenance. With the bike up on spools or on stands now, I went ahead and put it up on the front and rear stand. So this is when you can kind of go through, you can check like your bearings, make sure that everything sounds right. Front wheel bearings, you know, everything's, because it's all up off the ground. Now it's coming, you can kind of check all the different stuff. But for us right now, big thing is going to be now we can get to the oil drain plug and the oil filter. So we're going to take our drain bucket, our drain or our oil wrench. So your oil filter is going to be right here. It's on the left side of the bike. But before we take that off, right down underneath here, right up underneath here between your exhaust is going to be the drain plug. So this is going to be your drain plug. It's between the exhausts. So you got one collector on the left side, one collector on the right side. Oil drain plug is right here in the center. This is a 40 millimeter, or sorry, a T40. So this is going to be a T40. So we'll knock that off here in a second. With the drain catch here, remove your vent and the collector. That way, as oil comes pouring in here, it's not going to pool up and start overflowing. That's what your vent is for. All right, that plug was a little tight on there. All right. So at this point, if you're reusing this plug, this is the best time to replace your little crush washer, because I'm using a brand new one that's got a new crush washer. I'm not worried about it. Just let that drain for a little bit. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and break this loose. All right, so once you get the wrench on here, just gonna go and slowly back it up. All right, once you get it loose, you should be able to just take it off by hand. This part is where it's going to get a little messy. You're going to get some oil on your exhaust. If you've got something to cover it, I would use that. I do not see anything. No, we'll use this, I guess. All right. So kept it off most of it. It's dripping a little bit here, but I can just clean this off with some brake cleaner here in a second. But first thing you want to do, go ahead and make sure that all of the flat surface here is nice and clean. Then what we're going to do, we're going to take our new oil filter. This one here just happens to be a K&N. So it's already got some oil, but we'll go ahead and take this new Vortex drain plug and we'll stick that in there. All right, now that that's on, we'll go ahead and take our 17 millimeter. And again, everything down here is pretty, everything down there is pretty soft aluminum, so you don't need to really torque these down too terribly tight, just enough to crush that washer and give you a seal. Now that everything's all torqued down, we'll just give this a quick wipe. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and fill her back up. So this should take just under 5 quarts. Again, I'm just going to use a small little funnel because it fits in here. All right. So there's a little sight window right here. It tells you empty and full. So right now we're halfway in between the two. So we're going to start it up for a couple seconds, let it just idle. All right, so now you'll see that, ooh. So now when you look in there, after we let it run for a couple seconds, that it is empty again in the sight window. So now we're gonna go ahead and add the rest of our oil. All right, and that is everything to do the oil change. So again, this bike here takes just under 5 quarts. Make sure to, you don't pour all 5 quarts in all at one time. Do your 4 quarts, run it for a second to get it to fill up all the valleys and lifters and stuff, and then add the rest in. But that's it. That's done for today, guys. If you have any questions or if you'd like to see anything on the channel, just let me know. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Bye.